Good evening, and thanks for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Brooke Buckner here with Nick Luttrell and meteorologist Simone Thomas. And Nick, it has been quite the weekend for sports, both in-state and out of state.
Yeah, a lot going on with the Razorbacks and all the teams that played yesterday, and of course the Super Bowl that just wrapped up. I assume we got some Chiefs fans. We got some Chiefs
Shout
fans.
Shout out to the Eagles,
watching.
the winners of the Super Bowl.
Well,
we were for the Chiefs.
Kansas City won back-to-back before that, so.
The Eagles have a better looking team.
Okay.
Well, there you have it.
Travis Kelce, but you know.
Thank you.
Jalen Hurts.
It's true.
Well,
yeah.
Fair.
I'm sorry. That was
I got
really
Taylor
my.
Swift.
That
It's
was
getting personal.
That was really my only reason for rooting for them. You know, I don't know sports, but
I understand.
I do know weather.
She knows
You know
weather.
weather. Talk about weather.
And what I know is it's cold outside. 39 right now in the capital city, but it feels like 33. We usually don't start with currents at the top of the 10, but I just wanted to show y'all how cold it is outside and how cold it feels. It feels like 32 in Pine Bluff. Feels like 26 for our friends up in Harrison. Now, as we continue through the evening, overnight into your Monday, starting out looking to feel like the lower and even some middle 20s across central Arkansas. So definitely going to be a jarring start to your week as far as the cold. Make sure you bundle up even throughout the day. Those temperatures looking to get into the 40s, but the feels likes are staying in the 30s tomorrow. So I can't emphasize enough. Make sure you bundle up. You see towards the end of the day, though, that rain starting to move back into central Arkansas. And we've got a pretty active week ahead of us, so make sure you stick around for all those details coming up in your 11-day outlook.
Flu numbers are on the rise here in the natural state, and health officials are doing all they can to combat those numbers. THV 11's Maya Ellison shares more on what they're saying you can do to keep you and your family safe.
I will tell you today, just at opening, there were 15 people at the door waiting to come in, 14 out of 16 people that were flu positive. And then I saw 30 today total, and 24 of those were all flu.
This is the reality for many health clinics across the state as flu numbers are on the rise. The Arkansas Department of Health's weekly viral respiratory disease report shows a spike in confirmed flu cases in the state just last week. And Brian Rayburn says a number of factors could be the cause.
You've probably been around someone who has it, might have that slight throat tickle, kind of throat irritation, giving you a cough, and you were in vicinity of them. You just inhaled it. It's a respiratory virus.
Fatigue and even headaches are a few additional symptoms to keep an eye on. For some, the virus can cause high fever and even pneumonia. But Rayburn says even the slightest symptom should be taken seriously.
Really, you just kind of like wake up. And it's just kind of there. All of a sudden, it's from 0 to 100. You've got this fever, 100 plus. You've got this cough, the muscle aches and chills. Those are all the symptoms that it's time to go check.
It can even pose a higher risk for infants or even those with chronic diseases. Between January 26 and February 1st, ADH reported 9 flu-related deaths and over 2,400 positive flu cases. At the beginning of the year, the state only saw 341 confirmed flu cases, but 0 deaths. With the spike in cases, officials suggest a number of remedies to help combat the virus.
So having something like a vaccine that's already on board is just going to prevent this from progressing and getting worse. It doesn't mean you're not going to get it, though. But it might be the difference in you ended up in an ER or something versus in an urgent care.
Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Antibiotics, wearing a mask and staying hydrated to help prevent symptoms from getting worse, and of course to look out for those around you as well. Moving over now to an Amber Alert for a missing teen. Take a look at your screen. That's Sophia Franklin, who was last seen on Monday. Officials believe she may be with 40-year-old Gary Day here in Arkansas. Day is believed to be the father of Franklin's unborn child and is currently on felony probation for domestic battery charges. Authorities believe they may be traveling in a black 2014 Buick. If you have any information, you are urged to contact police. Last night, Jefferson County Judge Gerald Robinson held a special meeting looking to get a budget passed so county employees can finally get paid. That meeting, however, only saw 4 justices of the peace in attendance, and 7 are required to pass a budget. But instead of ending the meeting, Judge Robinson used the time to show a presentation on compromises he says he has made to justices that disagree with him. They also talked about Senate Bill 182. That's the bill to require counties to refer to last year's budget if they enter a new year without one. But it also says the county judge and quorum court members can't be paid until they pass a new budget. Governor Sanders says she supports the bill if it can make it through the House. The governor also putting a name to her plan to get phones out of schools. The Bell-to-Bell No Cell Phone Act would let schools lock up personal electric devices on campuses. It passed the Senate and is expected to quickly move through the House next week.
A lot of kids want to remember their memories of that pepper rally, of that homecoming, of that field trip.
If the school doesn't have that digital camera to borrow, you can't bring your own onto campus, it's going to make it harder to get those projects done.
There's going to be conveniences lost because of this, but I promise you it's worth it. It's worth it for the fullness and the beauty of what we're trying to do and what we're charged to do in this atmosphere and environment.
Senator Tyler Dees, the last person you heard there, is a co-sponsor of the bill with State Rep John Eubanks. Both said they have no plans on making changes to the bill, and the bill does allow for exceptions for medical conditions and emergencies. It's been almost 2 years since the March 2023 tornado destroyed parts of central Arkansas, and people in the hardest hit areas are still recovering, including firefighters who lost their station in the storm. On Friday, the Little Rock Fire Department showed me the progress they're making to rebuild.
They're coming from different areas. It's just taking a little bit longer to get there.
Although the department is down a fire station, Assistant Fire Chief Philip Durham says he's thankful it wasn't worse because it almost was.
We estimate it could have been to where we were dealing with 4 to 5 stations damaged, not just one. So we were very fortunate and lucky in this situation.
Surrounding stations are picking up the slack, but not for too much longer. Last month, city directors authorized almost $6 million for Wagner General Contractors to rebuild Station 9.
But we have been working diligently in those 2 years with an architect and getting all those things lined out, and it's a tremendous amount of planning. Because we're starting over.
Durham says the new station will have some things the old one didn't.
We've made bigger bays so we can house multiple units if need be.
More space.
Right. And so then we've got our bedrooms off to this side, away from the front of the building.
Plus a tornado shelter.
So we're looking real forward to is kind of being a flagship for the city as a fire station in the future. The contract's been awarded, and currently it's in between the city attorney's office and the contractor, and we expect it to be completed here in the next week or so.
As for breaking ground, Durham expects that to happen on or before the March 31st anniversary. We will continue to keep you updated on the progress. Who needs to go to the Eiffel Tower when the Museum of Fine Arts is bringing Paris right here to Little Rock? The newest exhibit, Rivera's Paris, just opened this week, and THV11's Ashley Godwin shows us what you can find there, including work from Diego Rivera and Pablo Picasso.
While people know Diego Rivera and perhaps the murals that he created in Mexico when he went back in 1921, many don't know that he spent a good portion of his career in Europe.
And that's where this exhibit begins, Rivera's Paris. You can take a trip throughout Diego Rivera's early artistry, starting in Spain and then following his journey into France as he worked beside painters like Paul Cézanne and Pablo Picasso.
That's one of the great things about organizing exhibitions is you may come in for Rivera, but you might leave completely understanding and appreciating another artist.
The exhibit is full of color and landscapes. It also features works of the Cubist style, a movement that used geometric shapes to show people. One of Rivera's most prolific pieces, Dos Mujeres, is included in the exhibit.
Really, it has just been the guiding light throughout this entire process.
There are 45 works in this exhibit, borrowed from 17 lenders across the world, making it one of the most unique exhibits to come to Arkansas.
You can come and visit this exhibition and see artwork that you would otherwise have to travel the country or even internationally to see.
In Little Rock, Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
Saturday, 50 Black-owned business owners gathered together under one roof to celebrate Black History Month. It was the first annual expo to celebrate the holiday at the Maumelle Event Center, and it was filled with music, shopping, food, and so much more, making it the one-stop destination for family, fun, and community.
I just think it's really important for us to come together as a community, especially with everything that's going on in the world today. So this is what this event is all about.
If you missed it but want to find ways to get involved in different Black History Month celebrations in Little Rock, you can visit our website, thv11.com. Home for Healing held a special prayer vigil over the weekend for Ben Horton, the young man who suffered a severe traumatic brain injury back in January while duck hunting. The organization says they hope the vigil shows Ben's family that they have a place to stay, and they have not only a community, but people from all walks of life that are praying for them. Ben's father, Greg, says he is overwhelmed by all the people that have supported them through this difficult time.
We're just in awe of the support we've received. It's supernatural. Yeah, I can't say enough about Home for the Healing. We didn't know places like this exist. You know, when we get through this, I'm going to do what I can for them, you know, pay it back.
Horton also tells us that Ben has made progress and is now gaining pupil response in both of his eyes. He also says he's thankful for the 23,000 people in a Facebook group supporting Ben's healing journey. Tonight, Israelis are being asked to turn their shock into action. Those words printed by Haaretz, the longest-running newspaper in Israel, following the return of the 3 hostages held by Hamas terrorists this weekend. Chris Livesay reports from Tel Aviv, where cheers turned to outrage.
After 16 months in Hamas captivity, it shows. Eli Sharabi embraces his brother and sister just after his release from a dungeon. His father-in-law, Pete Brisley, comparing Sharabi to how he looked before and after, was horrified.
To see the emaciated state that they've put him in, an absolute disgrace, and that was an absolute shock, and we both sat and cried. It looked as though he'd come out of a concentration camp.
Just before Sharabi was released, Hamas forced him to tell the crowds in Gaza that he was excited to be reunited with his wife and daughters. However, they were all killed during the October 7 terror attack, something Hamas knew very well. He did not find out until relatives broke the news back home. But there was good news, too. Or Levy, kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival, where Hamas killed his wife, was reunited with his 3.5-year-old son, Almog. As part of the ceasefire agreement, the Israeli military withdrew its forces from the Netzarim corridor, which split Gaza between the north and south. Scores of Palestinians were quick to flood the roads back home. They deprived us of food and water, says Mohammed, but we are still alive.
Chris Livesay, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Meanwhile, back in the U.S., many Americans are weighing in on how they feel President Donald Trump has fared so far in his second term. According to the poll, many are describing him as tough, energetic, focused, and effective, and believe he is doing what he promised in his campaign. Now, when it comes to his overall job rating, it's close, but 53% say they approve of his first couple weeks in office. However, lots of people are saying he is not focused enough on lowering prices. The Super Bowl was not the only big-time game taking place tonight. After the break, hear how these puppies got involved in the action.
While it's going to be a rainy next couple of days in central Arkansas, some of northern Arkansas might get some wintry weather. Right now, still a bit of a difference between the models, but we'll discuss that coming up with the week ahead right after the break.